Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining me here today. My name is Trish and I mostly focus on green beauty. I used to focus a lot on perfume. I had a blog called Scent Hive, and you can actually still access all the articles that I've ever written, all the reviews I've ever done. If you just go to greenbeautytrish.com, that will route you right over to all the Scent Hive articles slash reviews that I've ever written. So I am obviously very obsessed with perfume and fragrances, and a few years ago, I transitioned over from pretty much focusing strictly on perfume and into the whole wide world of green beauty, and just expanded what I felt like I wanted to be talking about and what I was really excited to talk about. But every once in a while, I do these perfume roundups to share with you just new perfume discoveries, new loves. And today is particularly exciting because this is a collaboration with Chris Pond, who is also known as Tophcam. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Chris is amazing. He has had a YouTube channel for I don't know how long. It's been quite a few years. Many years that he's been creating content here on YouTube. He did take a break, I believe, for 2 or 3 years, and then I was so excited, I don't know if it was a week or two ago, a video from him popped up and he is back creating content here on YouTube. So I'm super thrilled about that. And I'm so thrilled that he is doing this collaboration with me here today to talk about fall fragrances, fall scents, because I love how he talks about fragrance. I mean, I could listen to him describe perfumes all day long. He's just very eloquent, and of course he just has a beautiful way with words and a way of really tapping into the emotional aspect of scent, which I really appreciate and enjoy listening to, and just watching his facial expressions and how much he just loves fragrance. So anyway, I'm just super happy that he's doing this with me. And of course, I will link below to Chris's video. Again, his YouTube channel and Instagram is Tophcam. So I will put that below here so you know how to spell that if you're not following him already. And personally, I am really looking forward to seeing what Chris has chosen as his favorite roundup of fragrances for the fall. So if you're ready to hear my picks, let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, I just want to make a little bit of a disclaimer that I am not a person who, follows any kind of rules in terms of perfume. I wear perfumes that you would wear in the summer and the winter. I'll wear perfumes that you would typically wear in the winter, in the summer. I don't believe in female fragrances, masculine fragrances. I think everybody can wear whatever they want to wear. No rules. These are just the perfumes that kind of are exuding the current fall mood for me right now. So the first brand I'm going to talk about is Persephone, and the name of the brand, Persephone, is named after the creator. So I actually have met Persephone. I went to one of her events in Los Angeles, I think it was in 2009. And she is just incredible. I just fell in love with her. She just has such amazing energy. She is also a person, for those of you out there who are transitioning into gray hair, she is great gray hair inspo. When I first met her, she had really long, straight black hair, and now she just has this sassy short cut with her gray shining through. She's just beautiful. And so like I said, she is just great inspiration, just in general for style and perfume and incense and all that, but just in terms of gray hair, she's particularly inspiring. So as you can tell, I really love Persephone. She is a perfume maker, an incense maker, and she actually started her studio in 2004. I think that's what's on the website. So the first fragrance I'm going to talk about from Persephone is this absolutely stunning Mysore sandalwood. So this is such a beautiful little bottle. I love it so much. And let's go ahead and talk about the Mysore sandalwood, because I'm sure, as many of you know, Mysore sandalwood is endangered. So the Mysore that is in this particular perfume has been approved by the Indian government for export under very strict regulations. So you can be sure that this is not Mysore sandalwood that has been poached or illegally procured. So you know that the sandalwood in here has come from India under very strict regulations. So depending upon the sandalwood in your fragrance, you will get a different experience. I have several perfumes that have Australian sandalwood in it, which I actually really do like, but it's definitely a little bit drier and kind of thinner. This Mysore sandalwood is incredibly rich, complex, and it exudes just such a lovely like radiant warmth. There is a little bit of a dry quality, I would say, to this particular Mysore sandalwood, not in a negative way, but just kind of that dryness that you would experience maybe if you've just sanded some wood. It is still very full-bodied. It's very creamy, as you expect from Mysore sandalwood, almost kind of buttery. And kind of toasty. So let's go back to the dry aspect. I think that's kind of what I'm experiencing. It's not so much a dryness, but maybe like that toasty feeling of when you're creating heat from sanding wood. I think that's a more accurate description of what I'm sensing from this perfume. More toastiness, not so much dryness. I also want to say that this perfume is sweetly aromatic in a way that kind of has floral notes, a little bit of rose in there, and also honey. So even though it is a single essential oil, it is so complex and well developed that you can wear it as a perfume on its own, and you can also, of course, layer it with other perfumes that you have, especially if you have something that's very floral or very citrus and you kind of want to ground it down. Blending it with this sandalwood oil would be perfect. And clearly woody types of fragrances just exude fall. So I think this is perfect for fall, and I'm so glad that I got it. I actually purchased it when I saw Persephone post on her Instagram. So when I saw that I could get my hands on some Mysore sandalwood that had been harvested in an ethical way, I just jumped right on the chance and purchased it. And then in my order, she included this sample of Tropique Eau de Parfum. And I was very surprised by this, not only to receive it, that Persephone was so sweet to give me this, but so surprised in how much I absolutely love it. I have this one on my left wrist here, and it seriously, it makes me swoon. I'm just like, where has this perfume been my whole life? It's so perfect for me. It has, I would say, the overarching scent to me seems to be tuberose. There's also maybe a little bit of hints of gardenia. I'm not exactly sure what the white blossoms, like the white tropical flowers are in here, but to me, I definitely get tuberose and a little bit of gardenia because unlike jasmine, I find that like when you're smelling a fresh gardenia and or a fresh tuberose, it smells, it's almost like a candy sweetness that's not cloying in any way. It's still very fresh and natural smelling, but there is a candy-like sweetness, especially to tuberose, in my opinion. And this perfume just captures that so beautifully. So it's sort of like this sweet candy flower, but not cloying at all, not overdone. So it's just absolutely stunning, and I love it. There's also vetiver in Tropique, and that kind of, I would say that helps to ground the headiness of the white tropical florals that are going on here. I find vetiver to be sort of like a chameleon type scent. It can smell so many different ways in different perfumes. In this one, I think it's lending that kind of like milky, grassy, nutty aspect that vetiver has. And so I wouldn't smell this right off the bat and be like, oh yeah, that's a vetiver fragrance. Not at all. It is definitely a tropical floral fragrance, but I just, like I said, I think the vetiver just kind of grounds it from getting way too heady. Apparently there is also botanical musk in this perfume. I don't get a huge sense of that musk. I think maybe it's ambrette in here, which is a botanical musk. A lot of times when ambrette is used in a perfume, I really don't like it. Sometimes it just really overwhelms it and almost kind of drags it down too much. So if she did use ambrette in here, she used it very judiciously because, again, like that, the vetiver is not calling out, the botanical musk is not really calling out, but they're just sort of there residing in the background, I think, just to support the beautiful tropical sense that you get from this perfume. It is beautiful. I love it, and I think I'm going to need to get a full bottle for the holidays. I think that might be a Christmas present that I asked for. So the next perfume we're going to talk about is Velvet and Sweet Pea's Luminous Lemurs. Now, Lori Stern is the creator behind Velvet and Sweet Pea, and I have been reviewing her perfume since the beginning of my blog. Back in 2009, I love Lori Stern so much. She's such a beautiful soul. And the reason why this perfume is called Luminous Lemurs is because of her deep and abiding love for animals. So the proceeds from this perfume will go to the efforts of Centre Val Bio to build tree corridors for the lemurs to live and roam in Madagascar. So that's why it's called Luminous Lemurs. I'm going to show you the bottle, which is just so sweet. I love the designs that Lori creates, and when she sends you your package, it has this beautiful, like, vibrant Victorian, modern yet Victorian vibe. I just love it. But let's get into talking about the perfume. This perfume is so unique. I love it so much. Let's talk about the two main notes in here for me, which are ylang ylang and vanilla, both of which are from Madagascar. So let's talk about ylang ylang for a little bit. It is a really heady floral that also exudes some warmth and spiciness. So that in and of itself is going to have it play really well with vanilla, which of course is really warm, you know, mildly spicy, sweet. So the commingling of those two fragrances is just, she really balanced it very, very well. Another thing that the vanilla does for the ylang ylang is it kind of smooths it out and brings out the warmth of the ylang ylang. So sometimes ylang ylang on its own can be like way too much for me. I'm not a huge fan of the note per se, but the way Lori has blended this together is just, it's exquisite. There's also carnation, antique clove, nutmeg, and vintage sandalwood. So when she says vintage sandalwood, I'm assuming that's probably vintage Mysore. So from an old harvest before it became endangered. So these spices really heighten the spicy floral aspect of the ylang ylang, kind of like how the vanilla does. So if you're not too familiar with the scent of carnation, that too has a definite spicy aspect to it. So carnation works really well in this blend. And then the clove and the nutmeg really add to that spicy aspect of the ylang ylang. And then the sandalwood, of course, just gives it that beautiful woody floral experience, which woody florals are my favorite type of perfume. So overall, this is a very voluptuous fragrance. It's very alluring. It's also very cozy. Obviously, with the vanilla and the clove and the nutmeg in there, that's just gonna give you that feeling of autumnal coziness. So I think this is a really great perfume for the fall and winter. I did wear it in the summer because that's when Lori sent it to me, and I feel like it played well in the summertime months, but just that whole cozy aspect that you get from clove and nutmeg makes it a fragrance perfect for the fall, in my opinion. So now I'm going to talk about a couple of perfume brands that are new to me. The first one is Artisan Perfumes by Ixchel Lee. I don't know if I'm saying her first name correctly, but I think it's Ixchel Lee. She creates perfumes that are rooted in aromatherapy and how those essences work on an energetic level. So for instance, my favorite that she sent to me is Essentia, and this is what the bottle looks like. And the energy around Essentia is just all about love and all about the life force. So let's go ahead and jump into the notes in here. The top notes are very distinct. They are galbanum and bergamot. The smell of bergamot is very green. It's very citrusy. Galbanum also is very green, but in a different way. It's not very citrusy. It's more like rich grass. It has a little bit of a bitterness to it, almost a resinous quality to it, kind of like pine, a little coniferous, but at the same time, there is that green freshness about it. So the opening of this perfume, like I said, is just, it's all about the green. So then right after the top notes start to dissipate just a little bit, you're gonna get lemongrass, rose geranium, and then also Palo Santo. And the rose geranium and lemongrass give it like a really rich vividness, of course, still playing along those lines of grassy and green and citrusy. The Palo Santo, I would say, is pretty strong in here. It's very smoky and it's very resinous, and it does have a very dry sense about it. So different than the Mysore sandalwood, which is very creamy and buttery. Palo Santo to me seems very dry like I said, with that smoky quality to it. So what Palo Santo does in this perfume is it does ground all of those higher pitched green citrusy notes and gives it that depth of the resinous quality of that Palo Santo. I would say though, if you do not like Palo Santo, this might not be the fragrance for you because it is in there. It's in there throughout the entire perfume experience, even though, like I was saying, the top notes are really dominated by bergamot and galbanum, or galbanum. I'm never too sure how to pronounce that word. But anyway, you know right off the bat that Palo Santo is in here. There's also sandalwood in here as well as vintage rosewood. So just overall, it's a woody herbal perfume. Little bit of florals in there from the rose geranium, but I would not classify this really as a floral, like a woody floral. Let's go ahead and call it a woody herbal floral citrus perfume. And again, definitely for those of you out there who love Palo Santo. I also want to mention, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this in here, there is a little Herkimer diamond in every bottle. Now, Herkimer diamonds are not actual diamonds, of course. They are quartz crystal, and they are in there because they open up channels for spiritual energy. So if you really love, aromatherapy and how it works on an energetic level, I definitely recommend checking out Artisan Perfumes. And I do think that this is a lovely perfume for the fall, especially for those of you who do love Palo Santo. So the other brand that's new to me is Tender Flower, and this is a line created by Donna LaPrey. She is a biodynamic gardener, an herbalist, an aromatherapist, and she also creates flower essences. Now, I have been following Tender Flower / Donna on Instagram for years. I love what she does and what she's all about. So I decided to place an order, and then she added in some samples for me, which I was really excited about. And I don't have bottles, I just have the samples that she sent me. So these are just the typical vials, maybe like 1 or 1.5 mil. And she sent me several of them, but I'm just gonna talk about the 2 that turned out to be my absolute favorite. So first, let's talk about marigold pollen. So this has marigold, tea, apricot, and black currant in it. It is very bright, it's very fruity, juicy, but even though it sounds like maybe it would lean more towards a summery type fragrance, I feel like it's really nice for beginning of fall when you're just harvesting the last bits of your summertime blossoms and also fruits. It's just like you have a basket and you've gone out into your garden and you have like one of your very last harvests in there, like I said, with the flowers and the fruit and just the scent that would emanate from that. That is how I feel about this perfume. It is really, really beautiful, and it also reminds me of my favorite osmanthus tea. So I don't know if there's actually osmanthus in here or if it's just because there's apricot in there and osmanthus has that apricot aspect to it. But yeah, it just reminds me of a beautiful, rich osmanthus tea. And I really love this perfume. It is stunning. So if you like osmanthus perfumes with a little bit of tea in there, I highly recommend this perfume. It is really beautiful and really well constructed. The second one I'm going to talk about from Tender Flower is Tisane or Tisane. I'm never too sure how to pronounce this word, but I think it's Tisane. And basically what a Tisane is when you steep lots of herbs for tea, basically, because apparently if you call something a tea, it has to have the camellia leaves in it, like either black tea or green tea or white tea. So anything else really is considered a Tisane. So basically like an herbal infusion. So that is what she has named this perfume, which is very appropriate because this is loaded with herbs and green notes, including mugwort and chamomile. I think those are the only notes that she has listed on her website. I feel like there's probably also lemon balm in here because it is slightly citrusy. And then I think that maybe there's basil in here. I mean, I'm totally grasping at straws here, but sometimes basil has a little bit of that floral essence to it. Like if you have a basket full of basil that you've just picked from your garden, it is incredible. It smells amazing. It's like spicy, but it also smells floral. I don't know. I've become even more in love with basil this summer. So yeah, that's what I'm getting from this perfume, is not only those notes of mugwort and chamomile, but also possibly lemon balm, basil. And how I feel about this perfume is like, let's just say a bunch of lemons dropped in rich soil and you was surrounded by a bunch of herbs and you just kind of scooped it all up. That's sort of the overall impression I get from this perfume. herbally, slightly lemon, really rich, herbal, aromatic. It's really, really lovely. So if you are someone who does not want like a hyper floral perfume, you want something that's a little bit more herbal, aromatic from that end of things, you definitely will want to check out Tisane from Tender Flower. So the next thing I'm going to talk about isn't technically a perfume, although you can use it as a perfume. This is the Clair de Lune candle from Pink Moon. So this is the box, obviously, and this is what the candle looks like. And the candle is just so pretty. I love this pink, sort of frosty, it's like milk glass, but pink. So when I'm done with this candle, I'm definitely going to clean it out and then use it to hold brushes or pens or something like that. But anyway, it's just gorgeous. So I'll talk about the notes in just a second. I do want to let you know that the first run of this candle actually sold out. It was so popular. So it is on pre-order now. So if you are interested in this at all, I would definitely get your name on that pre-order, especially if you're thinking that you might want to give this as a gift. So let's talk about the notes to see if it is indeed something you are interested in. It has jasmine, bergamot, and pink peppercorn in there. So that's what's listed on the website. So it's going to be, of course, warm and spicy, floral. I also think that there's vanilla in here, or maybe benzoin, which is balsamic, but also very sweet, kind of vanilla-ish, because there is a milky sweetness in here. These are made with pure coconut and apricot wax. It's a blend of those two. And then the pure essential oils are the only ingredients in here. But I don't think that creaminess, kind of that creamy sweet back note, I don't think that's coming from the coconut oil. And as I was saying, you can use this as a perfume just by like digging your fingernail in there a little bit and then putting the wax on your skin. It's really lovely on the skin. What they say to do on the website is once you've lit your candle and then you have a little bit of the melted wax, you can dip your finger, of course, very safely. You don't want to burn yourself, but just basically when it's become soft, you can use it as a balm as well. And then of course you're gonna get the scent of the fragrance like a perfume. So I think this is just beautiful, great for gifting. Of course, I will put the link down below to purchase this if you're interested. One thing I wanna say about Pink Moon is I do have a code with them. It's just Trish, T-R-I-S-H, and then 10% of your purchase goes to Campaign Zero. So it's not an affiliate in terms of me making any money from it, but if you do purchase it and use my code, 10% of the proceeds will go to Campaign Zero. Now, what you need to be aware of though, is it doesn't just happen automatically. I actually thought that that's what happened. You just put in my code and then the donation was made. After you complete your order, on the lower left side, you will see a little button that says, you know, donate, make your donation. So make sure you hit that button so that the 10% of your purchase goes through to Campaign Zero. Now, if you have used my code, because I think there might be a couple people out there who did use my code, but who didn't hit the donate button. So all you have to do is go back into your email, go to your confirmation email, get back into your order, and then you actually can hit the donate button no matter how long ago it was that you purchased it. That's actually what I had to do. So anyway, just a heads up on that. It's just not as straightforward as putting in my code. You do need to hit the donate button. So now we are to the end of this, and I'm going to talk about my final fragrance, which is not in the green beauty space, but I do wear perfume, conventional perfume, whatever you want to call it. I do wear it every once in a while, not super frequently, not in any kind of way that is concerning to me for my health. But yeah, I just wanted to put it out there that this is not a green beauty perfume. But this perfume, I mean, I don't even know where to begin. This holds such a special place in my heart. First, let's look at this bottle. I hope you guys can get a sense of how beautiful this bottle is, and I love how it fits in my hand. So let's talk about it. So this is Féminité de Bois by Shiseido. So Serge Lutens was the one who basically like commissioned this fragrance to be created, and it was Christopher Sheldrake who actually formulated this perfume back in 1992. I got my bottle when I was living in New York, so I think it was probably around 1996 or 1997 that I purchased this bottle from Saks in New York. So I just have like just such good memories, even just from being able to get my hands on it, because I got the last bottle at Saks when I was there. So anyway, that's just a little bit of the backstory. Let's talk about the notes. I am just gonna read them all off to you so that you can get a sense of what's going on in here. There is honey, ginger, cinnamon, clove, plum, rose, carnation, peach, orange blossom, violet, cedar, sandalwood, vanilla, benzoin, beeswax, musk, and cardamom. So, I mean, it's just like, could you create a more perfect perfume for the fall and winter? I don't think so. I'm just like, I'm so crazy for this perfume. So let's talk about the overall experience. The top notes that you get from here are definitely like the peachy plum notes that are just, they're so pretty. And it's interesting because to me, it kind of has a little bit of that cola root beer aspect to it. And I don't know if it's that the cedar already is coming through with the fruitiness, but I love it. It's just amazing. In the middle of the perfume, it's gonna get a little bit more powdery. You get more of that violet, vanilla aspect to it. So it's just like, it turns into this warm sweetness. You get a little bit of that honey in there as well. The base notes are definitely the cedar and the sandalwood, probably more the cedar than the sandalwood, but the cedar really is present throughout the entire experience, kind of like what I was saying with Essentia and Palo Santo. With Feminité du Bois, it's a cedar perfume through and through. It's just that other notes are sort of mingling in there, playing with the cedar, depending upon where you're at. If it's the top notes, it's more of that, like I said, kind of the jammy, peachy plum notes. In the middle, it gets a little bit more like soft and powdery with that vanilla and the benzoin probably, as well as that honey. And then in the base, you get just that beautiful cedar feeling, you know, like you're just opening up that cedar chest, and it's also very soft and musky. So the whole experience of this is just like, it's really soft. It's very, to me, it's like moody and autumnal. And then what's also quite amazing is it's so magical in the balance of this perfume. As you can tell, I could wax poetic about it for a long, long time. I love it when people tell me that they love Feminité du Bois as much as I do. It just really holds a very special place in my heart. But here comes the sad news about this perfume. You can't get this bottle anymore, and you can't get the Shiseido formulation anymore. It has been reformulated. Now, I have tried the new formulation, which is under the house of Serge Lutens, so the bottle looks a lot different. I will post a picture here. I'm sure I can find one online for you. I have gotten a chance to try the new formulation at Fumerie, which is a beautiful perfumery here in Portland. I actually highlighted it in my Best of Portland video, which I encourage you to check out. But I would say that the newer version is a little bit flatter. It's still beautiful, but it's just not as like full and round and soft as the original formulation. I think that the newer version too might also be a little bit muskier as well. I'm just kind of going on memory here, but I do think that that was my experience with it. So to me, not as beautiful as the original, but you will find reviews online where there are people who actually prefer the newer version over the old version. So if these notes sound amazing to you, then check out the new one. If you can't get your hands on this, which I do think there are people who sell this on eBay. I don't know if I would trust the authenticity of it. That's like, you know, buyer beware. That's totally up to you. I'm not going to recommend somebody to purchase the original from, but if you, like I said, if you think these are notes that you are intrigued by, interested in, you know, you can purchase a sample of the new Feminité du Bois. I know you can definitely at Lucky Scent, and I've had great experiences with them just throughout the years, purchasing perfumes from them as well as samples. I want to show you, for those of you who are Feminité du Bois fans already, I want to show you what I have. And this is the Parfum Stylo of Feminité du Bois. So it's this pen, and of course you take off the cap, and then there's this little teeny roller ball here. And wow, it is so beautiful as well. Of course, it's a parfum, so it's going to be a little bit richer. I do think the formula is a little bit different in that you actually get a sense of cumin in here. People have mentioned cumin in this. I don't really get that too strongly in here, but I do probably think it is in there. But yeah, the cumin in the Parfum Stylo is even stronger, but it's like, again, the way this was formulated is so well balanced that that stronger cumin doesn't bother me at all, which sometimes cumin can. Sometimes cumin can be really overdone for me and just gets a little bit too dirty and a little bit too animalic, but in this one, just stunning. So just for those of you who are perfume collectors, if you can find this Stylo, I highly recommend getting it. And then this box I have are extra refills, and they just come in these little packets. So again, this is the perfume nerd in me. Maybe one day I will show you my entire perfume collection that I have, which it's actually not a lot of full bottles, but I have so many decants that I have swapped for over the years, either through Makeup Alley, when you used to be able to swap at Makeup Alley, or with friends or whatever, purchasing samples, being given samples by brands. It's quite a collection. And so maybe if I got enough interest, I would do that and give you guys a little perfume tour. So that definitely wraps it up. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to Chris for doing this collaboration with me. I'm so excited to see what you've got going on for your favorite autumnal fragrances. If you have not followed Chris either on Instagram or YouTube, please do go follow him. He's amazing. He is a wealth of information about skincare and also is just fantastic at describing perfumes and fragrances. So let's all go visit him over there and give him some love. And thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.